Days like these remind me so deeply that the value and fulfillment I seek from painting does not come from the finished work. It comes from the seeking. The seeking and the being in motion, both body and mind. Everything that is discovered from the moment I set foot out the door to the final brushstroke. We drove like an hour to get here, and almost the entire way was pure fog. And it was beautiful. But now we have some clear skies, clear views. So I'm going to paint the scene with some mountains and snow for this session. I'm just going to focus on that light pouring through the trees and hitting the side of the mountain. But it is blinding. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking about how I would paint all of that beautiful fog that I saw. Days like these remind me not to be stubbornly set on my destination, but to be open to receiving the endless pleasure of discovery along the way, as that can often be the true source of inspiration and guide me to my best work. I'm really grateful that I have a platform on which I can share these experiences, creating videos where I can show the incredible beauty of this land and my deep reverence for nature. As an artist who primarily paints outside, I do struggle during winter, but I have been really focused on finding reasons to love winter rather than feel trapped inside. It rains most of the winter here, or is on the verge of raining. The air always feels thick with moisture, and heavy clouds hang low over the valleys and rivers. And after days of darkness, one can easily forget what the sun feels like. But days like these remind me that even just for a few hours a day, there will always be light. It just depends where you look. There's so much to be thankful for, and right now I find so much joy in the small discoveries on paper. Lately, I've been combining watercolor and gouache, using them interchangeably, not focused on the materials themselves or color names or brands, just totally engrossed in my little experiments on paper. My only goal is to figure out how to immortalize what I saw and felt in nature in a way that feels good. As I was painting this scene, I was constantly shocked by how often I wanted to go darker and more saturated. But these soft, foggy scenes require so much subtlety. One of the reasons I like using watercolor and gouache together is that, well, first of all, they're very similar. They're both water-based paint and they are in the same family. I love watercolor for its spontaneity and how fast and loose it flows across the paper, so I can get lots of big, flowy washes and layers. And I love gouache because it can also flow and be diluted down and used in a sort of spontaneous way, but it's a little bit heavier. It sits in place, so it's a little bit more predictable. And of course, it's also opaque if used at full strength, so there's an option to layer up different types of textures and details. But one thing I find especially useful for these wintry, foggy, frosty scenes is using zinc white in a slightly heavier application. Drop that into the wet watercolor. It stays in place a little bit more and it creates the perfect heavy fog look, especially when I'm adding it to darker colors, because it obviously stands out more against those colors. I also find it really successful as a dry brush application over a field. So if I'm trying to create kind of a frosted grassy field, just sweeping a bit of that white on top of the field with a dry brush works really well. I'm having so much fun painting these types of scenes. There's so much variety, both in textures and color and atmosphere, creating the softness, creating the depth and the feeling of being there in a foggy field at dusk or walking among the frosted sheep. And I also want to let you know that both of these originals are available on my shop, so I'll put a link to that in the description. And I just want to thank you for your response to the videos I've been posting lately and the originals. They've been selling out pretty quick, and I'm just very grateful for that. It's helping support me, and it's also very encouraging, as I can be pretty hard on myself about my own art. I have very high expectations and feel like I'm very far away from my art goals, but regardless of the result, I always pour my heart into my paintings, and I'm really appreciative that they resonate with others and that you want to purchase them and hang them in your home. I also want to let you know that I have a new tutorial up on my Patreon about painting a gouache snowy mountain, and I'll probably be posting another bonus tutorial this month about winter. So if you're into winter scenes, this month is a great time to join my Patreon. Lastly, I want to mention that the Craftamo gouache subscription boxes are planning to be shipped out at the end of this month, end of January. So if you signed up for those, thank you. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for your support, and keep an eye out for an announcement towards the end of this month. I'll let you know as soon as I hear that they are shipped. Very excited about that. Okay, thank you all for watching and hanging out with me today. I will see you all again soon. Take care.